Merry Christmas. It's December 25th, 2009. This is a quick one, a quick repair for anyone who is unfortunate. Right now their boiler is acting up, it's smoking, it's not producing the proper flame. Anyone who unfortunately didn't get a chance to see our first series of videos on how to clean the BECKETT boiler, we're going to run through it quickly, walk you through and tell you what to do to get her up and going. First, of course, you want to start off by turning off or making sure that the power is turned off. If you're having a backup of smoke, you want to use a screwdriver or whatever is required for your particular system to take the stack apart and then clean the stack out as far up into the wall as you can. Now, what we're going to do, assuming that you've done all that or you don't have that problem, we're going to start here with your filter. I'm going to use grip pliers today because I've become a little more comfortable with working with them. So here, this is important, the size. I use a little catch basin here. I place this directly underneath because once you loosen this, of course, you're going to have some drainage. So clamp your grips on. Give it a turn. Now this, I can take it loose just by turning it with my hand. Underneath here there's a little washer that I'm going to replace. Underneath this small screw here there's a second washer that I'm going to replace, and inside the filter I'm going to replace that and the little rubber washer. With those replaced, I'm going to move on to the next, to the screens. But first, let's go ahead and get this taken apart. Good. Okay. Now, as you can hear, the fluid's starting to drain off. And you can see it. Now I'm going to keep turning this off, drop it down and replace the filter inside, then replace the gasket, the little black gasket that you can see here. I'm going to replace that one with the new one that comes in the pack, and then just put this all back together. Let's go. Okay, now, just a second, I'll show you. Here's the old filter. Place this here inside the bag now. This is the old one that was in place. And the filter comes inside with that gasket and the two little gaskets that go around these caps. They're very easy to replace. You can take those out and replace those with the new one. And as you can see now, I've gone ahead, placed the filter back in line and tightened it up. So now we can move on to the screens. There's normally four little bolts that hold this in place. I'm going to use an 8mm socketed screw to take those off one at a time. All four. Once those are removed, there's a blue filter or screen filter inside here that I'm going to pull out, and then the gasket that's here, the little cardboard type gasket, I'm going to replace that also. So let's get started on that. Just a second while I take this apart. Okay, let's pop that out. Get the new one. Put the new one in place. Get gasket. Pop the gasket in, put the screws back. This is a little tricky sometimes, getting this to line up, but I try and do one side and just get the screws started in one side and then move on to the other side. The top is a little harder because of the fuel line filter is in the way, so I try and do the top first, then move to the bottom. And then tighten them all the way up. And once they're all tightened and it's all set back in place, it's not dripping, here's the old flange that was there in place, and here's the old screen filter that I was telling you about. This actually goes right inside here, right inside, and fits inside, and then this closes back to keep it in place. Now next we're going to move on to what we hope was actually your problem, that you were getting a little dirt or dust or something, little particles inside the line, and we're going to go ahead and check your nozzle using again that 8mm screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and take these two loose, push this out, and then you'll see the compartment that holds. I'm going to use the small grips. What you want to do, there's two nuts here. You want to take this one, the outside one, off first. So I'm going to use my small grip pliers and get a good grip, and then slowly loosen it good. Now I should be able to spin it with my hand, which I can. Okay, and you see the line is now open. I'm going to use the larger grips for the larger nut here, which when turned, I'm going to do something I like to do with this particular system. I'm going to spin this all the way off, and this nut I'm going to keep it where I can find it by placing it right on here. Just slide it right on straight across. Now I have access to the nozzle, which I can remove by placing inside, pulling a little to the right while giving it a turn, and she lifts right out. Now what you can do, sometimes the nozzle will get clogged. What you can do is using two sets of pliers, two sets of wrenches. You want to place a wrench on the larger nutted end here and one here gently, but on the bottom end, so that you don't damage the electrodes at the top. We're going to go ahead and take that off, and once we take that off, you can clean the inside of the nozzle by removing its screened filter. Okay. Here. Come on. And she's off. Okay. Now, here's another little thing. This is very simple. Once you have the filter out, you can normally screw this out with your hands, with your fingers, and remove the filter, like I'm about to do here. And separate the actual filter from the nozzle into two pieces. This way you can clear out the filter and the nozzle, gently tapping it and blowing on both. If you notice, sometimes, like I have a lot of buildup on the filtered part, I'll simply soak that in alcohol and then clean it off with a dry rag. Once you've got it all set, done, ready, put back together, you simply reinsert it.